Deanne Kraft, the head coach of the St. Anselm women's basketball team. And, Coach, you came up here with a big smile on your face. You weren't smiling that whole game. I know there was some very emotional moments.
Yeah, there were.
Just an incredible turnaround because just nothing going right offensively in the first half. Not only a good turnaround X's and O's wise, but first of all, just tell me about the resilience of your kids coming back from a big deficit like that.
You know, I think the thing we really talked about after the New Haven game was that we needed to really focus on playing for our 4 seniors. And, you know, sometimes you take hard knocks, but you got to learn how to get back up and stop feeling self-absorbed whether you're playing good offense or not, and really lock into our leaders and leave it all out there on the floor. And I actually thought in the first half we didn't play that poorly. We seemed a little uptight at times, and our rhythm, you know, was just a little off kilter. And I think as we continued to talk to them about, you know, our defensive principles, you know, our defense kept us in the game, even though that's the largest lead that we have had to come from behind. You know sooner or later that we're going to have one of these types of responsive games. And we've been able to come back from 8, but we've never been able to come back from double digits. And so I think this is a really statement game for our program. I just felt like the fact that we completely turned the game around in the next 20 minutes really was the last 15, because they came right out of the gate in the second half. I think it went up by 15.
Exactly.
On both sides of the ball, you could just see us. It was like, I keep kidding with our kids, we're like the A train, and all of a sudden you saw the momentum coming, and I just thought we got a lot of production out of several people. We had 7 kids tonight go to the line and come back with a point for us, and that tells me how focused we were as a basketball team. Sometimes free throws, you know, it gets distributed only where 2 or 3 will hit, and then you'll have 4 or 5 that'll miss. Tonight, 7 kids went to the line, 7 kids came back with points for this basketball team. That speaks volumes about where our focus was.
Well, I'm glad you bring up the free throws, because the game against St. Rose a couple weeks ago, when I saw you angrier than you'd been, and we saw a little bit more of that side of Coach Kraft earlier today, but free throws were such a big problem in that game, and it looks like that was just kind of a one-game hiccup. Are you glad to see the way your team has kind of put that past them?
You know, I think so. I think the game before that, who'd we play at home when we got the win after Southern Connecticut? You know, they fouled us in that last 2-minute stretch, and we're learning how to finish games. And, you know, there for a while, because we haven't proven that we've been a good second-half free-throw shooting team. And so, you know, coaches are playing statistics, and statistics say that you're supposed to foul us, you know. And I was very proud. We've stepped up. We've kind of shooken that monkey off our back, so to speak. And I think now our kids are excited about going to the line, because they believe in the purpose of this basketball team. And I think more importantly, we're getting the right kids to the line. If you've noticed, a lot of things we do out of any type of pressing situation, obviously we're going to bring Piff back to the ball, but we a lot of times get to use her as a sacrificial lamb and get Erin Higgins the basketball, and she was able to go and hit a few. And then I can't say enough about Courtney May. She has not had a turnover in a pressing situation. That is the toughest position to play in the last 3 minutes of a basketball game, is your inbound man. And those things don't show up in stats. But I tell you, that's why our team's playing so well down the stretch, because we have seniors that are playing senior basketball, very experienced, very composed, and I just think she stepped up tonight and was marvelous from the line as well.
I'm going to use that to transit.
On both sides of the ball, you could just see us. It was like, I keep kidding with our kids, we're like the A train, and all of a sudden you saw the momentum coming, and I just...
The way that Courtney became the one who tied the game, and then got the lead to 2, and to 4, and to 6. What does that say about her? Because she was fighting a losing battle early on against a very tough player, and just kept going at it.
You know, and we've talked about it all year and all season. I think that Grace Harrington and Courtney May, the combination of that tandem in the paint, I think we're as good defensively as any post tandem in the conference.
You started going to that offense-defense very early, about 7.5 minutes.
A lot earlier than what you normally do, but Grace and Courtney, detract so much attention from the paint, because all of a sudden I felt that they went away from trying to get paint touches. They became a very perimeter team, which enabled us, I think, to kind of crawl back into the game. And that is strictly the efforts and the experience of Courtney May and Grace. And to see her get that run-out basket, we have, it's part of our arsenal when Piff can hit the 1-to-4 pass. And Courtney May runs the floor all night long, but the one time they did not get back on her, Piff hit her right there. She took it to the rim. She got several chances. A go-ahead basket for us, as you alluded to, with the 2.4-point stretch. And then, you know, when they fouled her, she just stepped up and calmly sank free throws. I can't say enough about the growth of Courtney May, the belief we have in her as a basketball player, and again, the belief we have in Grace. Grace is not our most effective offensive player, but they had no answer down low. They became strictly a perimeter-driven team, and then we were able to sub in both Morgan and Howard, and we tried to actually spread the floor a little bit and get a few little matchups, and it worked well for us. It always works well when the officials blow the whistle in your favor. I thought the overall approach and how Piffney, I thought, kind of handled the tempo of the game for us. And I know you and I have talked a lot about her, but I still need to sing praises about her. I think she is, if you can have your team in a position to win a basketball game in the last 4 minutes, I'm going with Epiphany Smith. I think she is absolutely brilliant in the final stages of basketball games. You can't get under her skin. She makes the right read. She sees the floor. She can finish at the rim. She hits free throws. And oh, by the way, she just happens to play 40 minutes. And so she does this when she should be the most mentally tired, and yet she just blossoms. And you can see it throughout her team.
And then even, I think, defensively, because you mentioned about everything that Courtney May and Grace Harrington did in the middle, but they became the perimeter team, and they started really throwing the ball. I don't know if the wheels came off mentally for Assumption College, but you had girls that were going for trap, but even when they weren't there, they were just kind of sinking back, and all of a sudden, there's
a little bit of our 2-2-1 full court press where we slide it back into our man-to-man. We also slid it back into a matchup zone for about 4 or 5 possessions, and then we played our traditional silver, which is our 1-3-1, where we put Courtney May, our big athlete, at the top, and we keep our quick kid in the back who can cover baseline to baseline for us. And our kids now, they know their coverage areas. You can just see it. They believe in it. And I just really felt that they got a little tentative. They didn't attack our 1-3-1 very well there in the final stages, but I think part of that was due to our aggressiveness.
Well, look at your players. They were aggressive, but at the same time, they weren't going all out and selling out for steals and traps and tying up the ball. They were trying to make sure that there were no easy passes.
No, I had to get on Piff a little bit after the game because I said, she committed the cardinal sin. She fouled, a three-point shooter, and that was her one mistake. But I said, that's a costly one, and so
she knew immediately.
she did, and it's like but the game, no matter if it's good or bad things, positive or negative, you can learn, and every situation is a learning situation, and to have us not only beat Southern Connecticut a week ago, but to follow it up beating Assumption, who is just, they've traditionally been one of the top teams. They're in the middle of the pack. This was an absolutely huge win for us, but the fact that we really came back from 15 and did it in the second half, I just think says volumes about the leadership that is really the underlying tone for this basketball team. Take Piff out of the equation. She's our leader on the floor. I'm talking about that leadership that you have to have every day in practice, that you have to have on campus. Our 4 seniors have been incredible. They deserve this. They got this. And hopefully they are beginning to see that we could be a team that can make the playoffs if we continue to play this way. We're not there yet. We've got so many tough games ahead of us, but this was a signature win, I felt, for this basketball team.
How is this ranked?
I didn't think we played stellar offensive basketball, but yet we were very good at moments in the game. And I think the fact that we only had 2 turnovers in the second half, when you have to try to force things to go in your favor, a lot of times you'll have multiple turnovers. So not only did we play aggressive, we played smart, and we just chiseled at it. We didn't come back like all at once, like sometimes you see with runs. We kept coming and coming and coming, and I felt like when we took the lead at that 4-minute mark, you just kind of saw the other team cave. And, you know, power to us, because we're not going to go away. We're 11th right now in the nation defensively, and I believe we deserve that, because the NE10 is great. They have great players. They have great coaches. And this team, of all of the pieces that make up this basketball team, they have bought into our defensive principles, and that's what got us back into this game. And ultimately, we